My wife, 47F, and partner of 20 years, has always used silent treatments against me, 47M. The last year has been relentless. 3 young children in the family. My wife has always used silent treatments throughout our relationship. These can last a few days to a few months. Last year has been particularly difficult and we have had several periods of silent treatment, one lasting 3 months. I am starting to feel trapped as I see no end, and also have 3 young children to take into account. My wife is studying at the moment, and I have given everything I can to support her. I have compressed my work hours to take kids to school and pick up. I take kids out at weekends so she can study. I financially support the family and my salary pays for everything. I do most of the cooking and housework, so she can focus on study. My wife was brought up with a physically/emotionally abusive father, so I understand why this might be a way of her coping, but I'm not that person. Silent treatment can happen as a result of conflict over anything, but the general outcome is that she emotionally withdraws, and speaks only to convey messages. This would mostly be about around kids' needs and survival needs. We are good at hiding the conflict from the kids, but as they get older, I'm sure they will see the dysfunction. We have been to counseling in the past, with success, but after a while, things go back to the way they were. I'm starting to feel used and also feel this is affecting my mental health to the point of feeling emotionally abused. She does have communication issues and I see that in other relationships, especially with her parents, who probably deserve it. I am fantasizing more than ever about leaving, but I love waking up every day and seeing my today I fucked up kids, and struggle picturing how different things would be. I'm in a dark place with our relationship at the moment, which is why I'm thinking like this, but when things are good, I love her deeply and want a future together with our family, so really want to give everything, before admitting defeat. Even when things are good, we have a sporadic intimate life. The enjoyment is there, but it's all initiated by me, and I have to almost pester her to make time, and often we can go months without having sex. I'm always the person who is looking to fix things. And while over the years I have given her space during these silent treatments, I am the person asking to talk and sort this out. I'm also the one who has arranged counseling in the past. I feel like during COVID, while homeschooling kids, allowing time for my wife to study, managing a team of 50 people at my work, long silent treatments over sometime trivial matter is just not working for me anymore. Happy to hear about similar experiences/coping mechanisms/advice. Too long didn't read. My wife has been giving me the silent treatment over our many years of relationship. This year has been particularly bad and I'm struggling with how to deal with things now. She's not an amazing mom and I guarantee your kids are always picking up on this. Imagine them treating partners in future relationships like this, thinking it's normal. Her toxic behavior is affecting them. Stop defending her and see her for what she is. Sorry to be harsh, but you need to get back into counseling. And you need to keep at it. She needs to get solo therapy as well if she has so many issues stemming from past trauma that she can't be in a relationship. This has to be your hill to die on. Children watch and learn and this is not something you want to teach them. I was no older than 5, when I first became aware of my parents' dysfunction, and I have copied it in the first several relationships I've had as an adult. If she is not receptive to this, I would say divorce. Unfortunately, tell her. If she doesn't learn to handle disagreements like an adult, through therapy if necessary, then you will need to leave her and seek custody. You're the one looking after everything anyway. I'm sorry. These can last a few days to a few months. Yeah, I am not sure why you put up with this. You can't accept it anymore. I won't be married to somebody who doesn't speak with me. All her bluff. Is she aware that treating your partner that way, even just for an hour, is highly toxic? This sounds to me like she has really big problems that have to be addressed. If I did this to my wife for just a day, we'd have a huge thermonuclear situation. It's totally unacceptable in my opinion. Your kids are seeing the relationship their parents have, and it is going to be their model for relationships. Your wife is abusive. Do you want your kids to accept abuse as normal? Aren't you concerned that they will get the silent treatment from her when they get older? If you've already tried to talk to her and tried counseling and nothing has changed. Together 5 years, boyfriend still not ready for house or marriage. My boyfriend, 28M, almost 29M, and I, 26F, have been together for almost 5 years, will be 5 in June. Lately, I've been gently and respectfully questioning about when he'll be ready to get engaged and buy a house. We've already had discussions that marriage and buying a home are important aspects that we both want. However, every time I ask, he gets upset and says I'm pressuring him. He says he doesn't know and he's not ready yet. He can't even give me a valid reason or timeline of when he will be ready. For the record, we are both extremely lucky enough to have decent paying jobs and have enough saved for a down payment on a home. I'm starting to feel extremely unloved and defeated. That he'll never be ready and that maybe he doesn't love me and is only with me because he doesn't think he can get anyone else. I think I know in my heart I need to end this, but I'm terrified of being alone. Any tips on how to be a strong independent woman would be much appreciated. Or should I wait this out? Has anyone been in a similar situation and how did it end up? Too long didn't read. My boyfriend is still not ready for marriage after being together 5 years. Do I wait this out or leave? I'll save you the long speech, but I was where you are. 5-year anniversary, nothing. In fact, he thought buying a house wasn't ideal and renting was great. He also didn't want to be pressured into marriage. We broke up a month later. I met my now husband a few months later and we hit it off. Within months we knew we wanted a future together. We got engaged just before 18 months together, married at 2 years together. Together 5 years now and married 3. You deserve better. Heart, I think. You honestly know. He's putting it off for one reason or another and you may have rose-colored glasses. I look back at that relationship now and think WTF was I doing? I understand not wanting to be alone, but if he's not ready to even give you a general timeline of when he might be ready, he probably won't ever be ready. He's probably comfortable with how things are. Don't let him hold you back. It sounds like you have a good job and have been smart with your money. Kindly let him know that you're ready to make plans for the future, and that if he isn't ready, that you'll have to accept that, but that you won't be waiting for him. And go and live your life. Buy your house, and please make sure it's in your name only and that you do not let him move in and mooch off of you. You deserve more than that. I have been in your exact same shoes. I was with my ex for 5 years. We started living together about 6 months in and pretty much acted like a married couple. On the 4th year I made a substantial amount of money and suggested we buy a flat together. He flipped and said either you will buy a flat for you or I will buy one for me, meaning he did not want to actually get a place together. On the 5th year, when I already have had enough, I brought up the topic of getting engaged. He was weird about it. Only when I'd cry or get upset would he say it's on his thoughts and he wants to marry. Time went by and he never proposed. I broke up with multiple times. He begged me every time to come back, except this on time where I asked him straight up whether he was wanted to actually be with me or if he was just used to me and us. He wondered about it and passive-aggressively asked, "But you want marriage and kids, right?" Implying that he didn't. That was the last straw for me. After the final breakup he tried to get me back, but it was just over for me. He didn't truly want to commit and there were so many signs over the years, but I chose to ignore them because I loved him. I'm 5 months into an incredible relationship, with a man who started talking about marriage very early on. Maybe it's our age. I'm almost 29, he's 33, but it was different from the get-go. I feel wanted and truly committed to, something I never had before. You will meet someone. This is not your one chance at love. It's best to do it earlier than later. Do yourself a favor and walk away. He will never commit. If a partner doesn't know in 5 years if they're ready to commit, I think it's a probability that it probably means they actually know they don't want to commit. You feel defeated because he's holding your life hostage. You are ready to start settling down. He isn't. You are allowing him to dictate when your life starts. On the flip side, you can't really dictate when he decides he commits either. So long story short, I think you are on two different paths. I would not give him an ultimatum, but I would tell him that you want something he's not ready for and it's time for you to move on. Edit typo. My 22F dad, 43 meters, was horrible to my husband, 24M, on our wedding day for seemingly no reason. Unsure how to mend the situation. So my husband and I have been dating for 3 years and he proposed last year. My parents have always been really welcoming to him and have always told me they really like him. Well, last week the wedding happened. It was an extremely small ceremony with us, my and his parents, and 5 friends. Because it was so small, we had an extremely nice dinner catered and were able to really spend up on my dress and our decor, our photographer, etc. It was absolutely phenomenal and perfect. My fairy tale come true. Truly the best day of my life. My husband and I looked perfect. I saw a preview of our pics and they're unbelievably beau. Today I fucked up. I can't stress how much I enjoyed myself. The only part of the night that I really hated was my dad's behavior. When he walked me down the aisle, he said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I guess they let everyone wear white. Ain't a virgin in sight here," and laughed. I was literally mortified. My dad has never spoken to me like that. I've never heard him say anything like that. He also leaned into my husband's ear and said, "I brought my shotgun, son," which was so cringe and horrible. Twice during the night he smacked my husband on the back way too hard and said, "Well, you're stuck with her now," which was just rude. He also told my husband he was making it look like a prison wedding. He has a few tattoos, which is what I assume he was getting at. He didn't smile in any of the photos. All night he was being rude to everyone and drinking too much. My mom ended up convincing him to leave early and apologized to me. Said she had no idea what he was doing. My husband's dad gave me a big long hug and told me he was sorry. Literally everyone noticed. He never said a word about it or apologized. And when I brought it up he was like, "What? I wasn't rude, or just nitpicking me," and has gone back to normal. Swears he likes my husband and doesn't know why I'm blowing up. Nothing. My mom won't say anything to him because she always chickens out of picking sides. My dad has never been like that and I'm just at a loss addressing it because he completely refuses to admit what he did. I've decided not to purchase the photos with my dad in them. He's scowling and I don't want that memory. I'm so sad about it. I don't have a single nice pic with him. Too long didn't read. My dad, who claims to like my husband, was extremely rude at our wedding. He won't admit it and I don't know how to mend the relationship. He really hurt me. Was your dad drunk before the ceremony started? Because this reads like a drunk asshole trying to be funny by saying stereotypical, tired, sexist jokes. Your dad sounds like he was drunk for the entire thing. I am so sorry that this happened to you. I think you're handling this correctly. Focus on the parts of the day that didn't include him. As for how you deal with him, if he's not willing to admit what he did, well, that's the level of relationship that he wants. Let him have it. I have to say, when I read the title of your post, I expected the behavior to be primarily directed at our husband. And you mention specifically that you don't think your dad dislikes your husband, as if that could explain his behavior. He wasn't just rude to your husband. He was rude to you, and everyone present, but mostly to you. The dress comment had nothing to do with your husband. It was rude to you. Being stuck with her comment wasn't rude to your husband, it was rude to you. Most of the nastiness was directed at you, and you have every right to be upset about that. There are all sorts of reasons that he may have been upset. Some parents view marriage as losing their child. That doesn't in any way excuse his terrible behavior. Yeah, honestly, you're right. Thinking on it, the really mean comments were almost all about me.